goods, and welcome back to another episode of Anthro Anime. I'm super excited about this review that I'm doing today. So today's review is going to be for the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. I started this anime probably in February is when I really came across it. So in this particular world of Jujutsu Kaisen, there's this thing called cursed energy. It is believed that every human on Earth carries cursed energy, but the average human being does not know how to control the cursed energy that's coursing through their bodies, which leads to that cursed energy flowing through their bodies, but then also flowing out of the body. Energy leaves the body. It creates what's called curses. So these curses can actually become like the physical, take a physical presence that can actually be seen by certain people. There's a very small percentage of people who can actually control the cursed energy within their bodies. These people tend to become what's called sorcerers. So sorcerers are a group of people who can not only control the flow of cursed energy in their bodies, they can actually harness it and create cursed techniques. So these cursed techniques come from people being able to kind of hone that cursed energy in their bodies, and they can create techniques to, battle with. So the story revolves around our protagonist. His name is Yuji. He has kind of like red spiky hair. He is a high school student. Kind of centers around how, Yuji is going to see his grandfather in the hospital. He's pretty sure that his grandfather is dying. And when he goes to see him, his grandfather is dying, and his grandfather pretty much says, please promise me that you're going to use your strength to help other people, and that when it's your time to go, that you're surrounded, by other people. Yuji viewed that or internalized that message as basically everybody deserves a proper death or a proper burial. He chose to be a part of an occult club because they weren't as strict as far as attending. He became a part of this occult club and became friends with a couple of the students that were in it. Well, while Yuji was he gets approached by a jujutsu sorcerer named Megumi, who has been trying to track where a cursed item disappeared. So along with curses being able to take a physical form, people can curse items, and then those items kind of maintain a piece of cursed energy and spirits. So Megumi is looking for this particular cursed item that disappeared from the school that Yuji goes to. So Yuji's like, yeah, I know where that item is. My fellow members of my occult club took it. So of course that puts Megumi into high alert, because he's like, those aren't anything to play with. These cursed items are extremely dangerous, and once they're unsealed, the energy from these items attracts other powerful curses and can basically lead to, people being attacked and killed. So immediately both of them head out. So of course they both hightail it over to the school, and that's where they see that the members of the occult club have unsealed the item, and it's attracted a very powerful curse, and it's too strong for the both of them. It turns out that the item that the occult club had opened up was actually a cursed finger, and the finger belongs to a very powerful cursed spirit called Sukuna. And he's basically a demon that existed probably over 1,000 years ago, and he originally had been a person, but he developed such strong cursed energy that it got to the point where other sorcerers came together and tried to destroy him, but because he was so powerful, they had to chop off his fingers and seal him because they couldn't fully destroy his body. So of course, you know, you have one sorcerer, Megumi, who's trying to fight the spirit off, but is also not strong enough. You have Yuiji, who is definitely not strong enough. He's just a regular person at this time and wants to save his friends. So they end up getting in a tussle with this powerful spirit, and then in order to save everybody, Yuiji eats the finger of Sukuna. And when he does that, when he takes that finger into his body, Sukuna is then at that point able to possess Yuiji. So, after Yuiji becomes possessed by Sukuna, he's able to defeat the demon that attacked his friends in the school. But the issue then becomes that now that he's possessed by Sukuna, Sukuna can now basically be reincarnated into the world through Yuji's body. So Megumi knows at this point he needs to exorcise Yuiji, even though he's a good guy. It's just too great of a risk. And, you know, Megumi also knows that at this point he can't take Yuiji on by himself. So he calls for his mentor, whose name is Gojo. And he's basically the strongest of all of the sorcerers. And take on Sukuna, who's in Yuichi's body. So they start battling, and then come to find out, now that Yuichi's the vessel, he can actually withstand Sukuna. So even though Sukuna's in his body and possessing him, Sukuna doesn't have free reign, because Yuichi's able to kind of maintain his own personality, his own thought processes, while even though he's being possessed. So at this point, Gojo says, you know, I'm not gonna exercise you right now. I'm gonna take you back to the school that he's a teacher at and pitch this idea to the higher ups at the school, like, hey, why don't we, instead of just killing Yuiji right now, let's let him ingest all the fingers of Sukuna. So you know, Yuiji had already eaten one. There's 20 in total, so he had like 19 more. They said, let's track down the 19 other fingers, let Yuiji eat them, and then once he's eaten all those fingers, then we can go and kill him, and that way we'll have killed Sukuna, you know, finally, and it's over and done with. So the school, at face value, agrees. They're like, you know what, that's a good plan, and we'll keep Yuiji here at the school and monitor him. I'll start off with Yuiji Itadori. I talked a little bit about him in the story and how he's the vessel for Sukuna. You'll find that personality-wise, Yuiji is pretty easygoing. He's very kind. He has sympathy and empathy for even the cursed spirits that he has to fight. Coming into this sorcerer world, he, you know, realizes that he's gonna have to kill people, whether he wants to or not, because sometimes that's the only way of saving these individuals and releasing them from curses. You know, deal with that scenario. But he's a very kind guy. He's you know, really took what his grandfather said to heart, as far as, you know, making sure that you help others. And it's just something that he really took to heart and wants to stand by. It's kind of how he mentally has that resolve, is from that experience with his grandfather dying and his grandfather's regrets. So that's a big part of him learning in his arc. Then you have Megumi. He is a first year at the school as well. So Megumi Fushiguro, he is considered to be a second grade sorcerer. He came from a pretty much like illustrious family of sorcerers. So Megumi has a sense of kind of like kindness towards people who are kind or, you know, good people, he'll look out for them and show, you know, some empathy for them. But as far as like people who are criminals or up to no good, like he has no patience for those people. He's able to use what's called shikigami, so he can summon these kind of entities, and they usually take the form of some type of animal. He has these wolf ones that he uses a lot that can do the tracking, they can attack. He is highly intelligent and utilizes battle tactics pretty well. You have Nobara Kugasaki. She is also a first year and a female sorcerer. She is very self-confident. She's very brash. She says what she means. Basically, she said what she said. Regardless, she doesn't care about your feelings or your misconceptions. Her cursed technique centers around, she has like a cursed hammer, nails, and dolls, and she's able to do what's called resonance, which basically means that if she uses her cursed energy on her doll, it'll resonate with the cursed energy and cause damage to the curse. Then you have second years that also appear within the series. There's also third years that make an appearance in the show as well. To round out the starting cast, Satori Gojo is who I'm going to talk about next, since I don't want this to be too long dealing with the second years and the third years. And when you see him, he usually has his eyes covered, and he's usually wearing all black. But his whole thing is he does not like the higher-ups. He feels like the whole world of Jujutsu needs to be reformed from the bottom up, and that the higher-ups are, you know, basically making the world kind of stale because they just refuse to change and they refuse to listen. So he's really kind of disrespectful to the principal of the school and anybody who's a part of the council that makes decisions. Now we're going to talk about the special grades. So these are special grade curses. So these are curses that are far beyond the typical curses that you see. They are the kind of the main antagonists / villains of the show. Mojito, he has the most human-like appearance of any of these special grades. And his whole motivation is that he hates human beings. He hates them. He feels like cursed spirits should take the place of human beings. So he really wants to destroy all human beings and replace them with the cursed spirits that are around. Now keep in mind, cursed spirits are born from human beings. So their whole mentality is, you know, why should we just be some byproduct of human beings when we can just take over this world and live in this world, and then humans can be the cursed spirits. His ability has to do with souls. So he's able to manipulate souls, which in turn manipulates the human being's body. So he does a lot of grotesque experiments. He's killed a lot of people, kind of working on turning them into cursed spirits. They become, you know, unrecognizable. Next you have Jogo. Jogo kind of looks like a volcano, the physical embodiment of a volcano. And his powers have to do with fire, explosions, and flames. He shares Mojito's hatred for human beings as well. While Mojito is very kind of playful and kind of nonchalant, Jogo is the exact opposite. He's quick to anger, always on 10, kind of like a volcano you would think of, like that kind of explosiveness. So that's kind of a part of how he's viewed. Hanami. Hanami is a very interesting special grade cursed spirit, and you get the sense that Hanami is way more powerful than he lets on. So Hanami is very much in tune with the earth, and it's thought to be actually the cursed energy of the earth itself. So Hanami wants human beings gone as well, but because human beings have, you know, pretty much trashed the earth and don't care about it, and Hanami feels that, you know, cursed spirits would at least be better for the earth in the long run. He's very powerful. He has the ability to create blooms out of its body and attack students. His body is very hard and difficult to penetrate. So of course that made, doing battles with him, a little bit more difficult because it was hard to injure. All right, everyone, this is my finished look for today's review. I highly recommend you guys check out the Jujutsu Kaisen show, the anime. I found it on, I think it was Crunchyroll. You might be able to find it on Hulu, but I definitely know it's on Crunchyroll. 24 episodes. Every single episode was great. I just found myself wanting more and more of the series. As always, I thank you guys so much for your support. I do have my Teespring store still going. So if you want to buy any Anthro anime merchandise, you can head over to the Teespring store and get some of those items. Or if you're not interested in any of the items, you can always buy me a coffee to help support my channel and my efforts. As always, remember to be safe, be well, and be kind. And I'll check you guys out next time. And have a good week. Bye-bye.
Woo!